is the founder of Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona Beach, Florida. And this morning, I'd like to give a few words about Mrs. Bethune and the connection to my family. She is the founder of the church, the college built on prayer. She was born in 1875 in Marysville, South Carolina. She was the last of 17 children. Mary was the first child in a family that was born that was not a slave. So it was right after slavery when Mary was born. Mary always was a praying child, and one of her early prayers was that she could go and be educated. But in Marysville, South Carolina, there were no schools for black children. One day a lady came to her home and asked her mother, would she send some kids to a new school that was established in Marysville. This was the answer to Mary's prayer. Mary went to that school and finished it. It only went to the 9th grade. But after that, she earned a scholarship to go to school in North Carolina, which her mother and father allowed her to do. She graduated from that school and finished Moody Bible Institute in Chicago, Illinois. One of her dreams was always to be a missionary in Africa, but that was not to be. She never got a chance to go to Africa, but she accepted a position in Augusta, Georgia, where at that time she learned there were workers in Daytona Beach, Florida, that were building the resorts, hotels, and motels along the beach. But these people had no schools for their children to go to. So Mary packed up, she and her son, and went to Daytona Beach, Florida. There, she started a school with 5 little girls. These 5 little girls are lore legend of Daytona Beach, Florida. Mary, over the years, to build her school, she sold sweet potato pies. She established a choir at that school, and that choir traveled all over the South. One of their trips was to Miami, Florida, where she visited an orphanage. And at that orphanage, she was impressed by a young man that sang wonderfully. Mary offered him a scholarship to come to Bethune-Cookman College. And this young orphan mother had passed away in Key West, Florida. And she was the mother of 9 children. Those 9 children were spread out over different relatives, but 3 of them ended up in an orphanage in Miami. So when Mary offered the young man the scholarship, he said, I would love to go, but I've got 2 other siblings. And if you could bring them with me, I would be happy to sing in your choir. Mrs. Bethune accepted his offer and brought all 3 of those children up to Daytona Beach. She did this for quite a few people, children, in her lifetime. Mary was a great woman. She served as advisors to presidents, President Coolidge, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and President Harry S. Truman. She was a special friend of President Roosevelt and his wife. She was the first black to be appointed to the head of a department of the U.S. government. She was appointed the director of Negro Affairs back in the 1930s. She served from 1933 to 1943 in that capacity. What happened to those 3 young kids? Those 3 kids, the first one, the singer, was my uncle, Edward Rodriguez. The second was his sister, Irma Rodriguez. The third was my father, Oliver Holbert. The 3 children, those 3 children, Uncle Ron became a history professor at Bethune-Cookman College after finishing Bethune and Morehouse College. Irma went to the U.S. Army, served as a WAC, came out and got her master's from Iowa State University and taught right here at Southern University before going back to Florida and retiring from Bethune-Cookman College. My father, Oliver, also graduated from Bethune-Cookman, but after 16 years as a police officer, he was the first black police officer in Daytona Beach. He was the second black deputy sheriff in Florida. And he, after graduating from Bethune-Cookman, he taught history at the high school level. So all 3 of those kids came from an orphanage and made good for themselves. And ironically, all 3 of them taught history. I went to school, grade school, on the campus of Bethune-Cookman at Kaiser Laboratory, which was right next door to the museum, which used to be the home of Mrs. Bethune. Mrs. Bethune has a museum in Washington, D.C. Her home in Daytona Beach is a museum. My uncle Rod, that singer, was the first curator of that museum. She also has a statue up on Southern University's campus in front of one of the older dormitories. So this picture hangs above my favorite chair in my home. So I always am reminded where I came from.
Oh, wonderful.
Excellent. A moment